hope you do not get the impression that I am anti-Semitic. I am not anti-Semitic. I endeavor to record from the title of this video. I hope you do not get the impression that I am anti-Semitic. I am not anti-Semitic. I endeavor to record things from history as they happen. And it has become the fashion now that anytime you criticize Jews, then you are labeled as anti-Semitic. Yet, you can criticize us, African Americans, and nothing happens. And even when we criticize white people, we are branded as racist and anti-white and anti-American and anti-this and anti-Christian. But I endeavor to set the record straight. In 2016, we interpreted the Vincent Smith narrative, and it was reminiscent and reminded us of the writings by Chandler Saint and Dennis R. Caron. Both of them wrote about a slave narrative. Of course, Saint wrote about the Vincent Smith slave narrative, and Caron wrote about Prince Mortimer. And as we started trying to interpret the Vincent Smith narrative first, and found out right away that these were the same narratives. And the narrative was actually about Prince Mortimer, and the beginning of Prince Mortimer's life was that of the narrative written by Chandler Saint. And the reason we say that is because as we went into the first narrative, we was directed to the second narrative. And we found that it was not a narrative at all. It was, in fact, a history of the Atlantic slave trade as it was dominated by the Jews of Europe. And by that I'm saying that the Atlantic slave trade was controlled and dominated by the Jews, especially the Jews of Amsterdam, because they had founded the Dutch West India Trading Company, in which they made the Dutch a world power. And the things that shows up in the Vincent Smith slave narrative turned out not to be about what they actually say that they were. For instance, it talks about a place called Dukandari, and at one time it talks about a tribe called Dukandari, and we found out that this was a hybrid word, a manufactured word, taken from the Swahili language, and it, for example, the first part of the word Dukan means shop, tribe, marketplace, retail outlet, and the second part, Dari, means sometimes it means a woman, but then it means trinkets, bling bling. It means baubles. It means something that's shiny, but it has no value. And so, secondly, why would someone write a narrative and include those things and have what you call misdirection? And we found that this was actually written by Jews that were in Newport, Rhode Island, because it was the Jews who controlled and dominated the Atlantic slave trade, and we are now accusing other white Europeans of dominating the slave trades, such as the Dutch government, and so forth. But I am here now at Mount Calvary Baptist Church in Vail, North Carolina, and back in 2016, the Coalition of Black Churches of Lincoln County, North Carolina, commissioned me to look into the Vincent slave narrative. And what we found, that African Americans are the only people in America who do not know who they are. And we did a video and put it on YouTube. It was called Vincent Smith's Make It Happen. It was about African American identity. And we posted on YouTube. And we infused another Vincent Smith narrative by Keith Connor, by a TV station in New Haven, Connecticut. And it was a 32-minute video, and we went over the identity of African Americans. And you might say, well, we know who we are. And I'm here to tell you, you do not know who you are. Because in that same period of time, we took a program to Middletown High School in Middletown, Connecticut. And we asked 18 out of 18 high school girls of color their ethnicity. And 18 out of 18 got it wrong. And then we went back and told them about that we told them that color was not ethnicity, and we went back again, and 18 out of 18 got it wrong the second time. So okay. In this narrative, we started out like with the Vincent Smith narrative, and then turned out it morphed into the narrative called Prince Mortimer, and we found that Prince Mortimer was a slave of Philip Mortimer in Middletown, Connecticut. But the thing was that he came from the plantation of William Brown in Rhode Island. And on that plantation, he was called Great Prince. Of course, he ended up being a slave in Middletown and under the name of Prince Mortimer. And then we realized that these two narratives were the same. And why were the same? Who wrote it? And we found that it was written by Jews that was at a Jewish Masonic lodge in Newport, Rhode Island, and this narrative was never supposed to have gotten outside of that lodge. And the reason why is because back in 1486, the Jews on the Gold Coast had derived the plan how they was going to take over the world economy after a Portuguese took them there. His name was Diogo Zambuja. He took them there to build Elmina Castle, which was supposed to have been a slave factory where the West Indian, the Dutch West Indian Company could transfer slaves to the New World. And these Jews there, including Columbus, who was also there because Columbus was also a Moreno Jew. And they implemented their plan in 1492. And when Columbus came to America. So, right from the beginning, it tells us that that the history that we have about Columbus and all this is not true, because that it was orchestrated by the Jews, and by 1513, the Jews had taken over the world economy, and they was pulling all the strings, and these so-called European powers such as Portugal and Spain and Holland and England, they were playing by the rules of Jews of the world. And also the Jews also set up all the rules that we observed during slavery on the American slave plantation and all this. Now, if you really want to learn more about this information, I encourage you to buy a book online on a website. The website is called oaklancenter.org and niceWyoung.org. And those books, there are books there for sale. There was one of them is called Hannibal Smith, Duke and Diary and the Looking Glass. And this particular one that I'm talking about now is called Prince Mortimer. What's in the name? It's a Jewish thing. And you will learn the role that the Jews played in the slave trade. Now, also, you will see that the situation which the Jews had set up is playing itself out now since 2016, not 2016, 2016. Since 2016, all the things that's happening now is what was set up by the Jews way back then, and also what happened between 1865 and 1877 are the same things that's happening now. For example, they had a president who called black women dogs. And his name was Andrew Johnson, only he used the word wench. And wench also means dog. A black woman is a dog because it referred to a female dog, and of course a female dog is called a bitch. And also he did the same things as far as the reaction to him from Congress. He was impeached in the House, but of course he got to the Senate, and the Senate refused to impeach him, to try. He also advanced the people back then was called white supremacists, but now they're called white nationalists. And everything he did with the